What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Lumsden Motorsports Garage. I'm Wade Lumsden, and today we are going to be working some more on the Tuff truck. It is actually Friday. I took a vacation day because from today I have basically a week. I have 7 days, probably less than that because I still got to get it out there to get this truck done and get my modified ready and all that stuff. So I needed another day, so I took a vacation day. Yeah, I'm currently halfway through the day already, but that was spent going to get another stick of pipe and another piece of exhaust tubing for my coolant lines and a couple other little things. So hopefully I have everything that I need to really get rocking and rolling. I might have to go to like Home Depot and make a couple little stops like that throughout the weekend, but at least I got what I need from the places that'll be closing. So let's get to work. Alrighty, I think it's time to stop talking about it and, you know, just try to get this thing freaking done. We're gonna work on getting the lower shock mounts and all that jazz in, and including that we will be installing our wedges for the pinion angle. I guess I can go over just really fast how I determined I needed to do that. First off, I crawled underneath said truck, and then right now the drive line is actually out on the back side here, but you're going to measure the angle that your transmission is sitting at, okay, and then you're going to measure the angle that your transmission is sitting at, right? So if this was turned and completely straight up and down, you could get that angle off of here, and then you're going to measure the angle that your drive line's at, and then you're going to go back there and measure the angle that your pinion angle is at. When you have those angles, you can sit and you can do a little bit of math, and I think I already did mine. All right, gonna go over the math real quick. Drew a little diagram of what I had. This was point A. A is the angle of your drive line, or sorry, A is the angle of your transmission. C is the angle of your drive line. B is the angle of your pinion. Okay, you're gonna have to measure all those. I measured mine, and then you're gonna take A and subtract C. Mine was, this was measured at 6, this was measured at 9, so I got a -3. And then you're going to take B and subtract C, get the difference there, and you get a number. Mine was came out to 7.5. And then if you look at kind of how that turned out, this angle from the transmission was 3 degrees, and then my drive line goes down, and then my pinion angle is actually going this way some more at 7.5 degrees after you do all that math. The goal here is to have your pinion angle and your transmission, the out of the transmission, to be the same. So I ended up taking my 7.5, I subtracted the 3 and got 4.5, and then I went online and I found myself a set of wedges that would correct that, and we're going to get them installed in the car. I just wanted to briefly go over that. Let me know if that was confusing, or if I need to explain it better. I just wanted to go over it super quick, and that was, of course, because I added the lift in the back, right? So the shackle flip here was a lift, which when you lift a leaf spring truck like that, it pushes this down, pushes the back end down, which you can see would tilt the pinion angle, right? Would point the pinion angle up. So now I need to take the pinion angle and flatten it back out a little bit. That's the goal. It's one of the things we're going to do on top of getting the lower shock mounts and that stuff completed. Yeah, I'm just gonna do the best that I can to knock out as much as I can today. So be back at you. I might do some stuff off camera and then come back and show you what I did, just so I can make some good headway. So all right, show you what I got going on here. You can see I got C-clamps holding the springs together. I unbolted the U-bolts. The U-bolts are down there. Unbolted the U-bolts that lowered and then lifted the back of the truck away from the rear end. You can see it's rotated everything. But got that that separation. What's in there is a bolt that looks like this. It's a round head coming up from the bottom. I just get in there with that separation that you have down there. I grab it with a pair of vice grips right there and then screw it off. So that's what's going on. Got my wedges. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to put the wedge in. Okay, so here's my wedge. My springs are on top of that perch, right? So this is going to go in between that perch there and the springs. I am wanting to adjust my pinion angle down from where it normally was. So since my springs are on top of my axle, I am going to set this in with the fat side towards the front, and that will push. Basically what that ends up doing, and I'm going to do it kind of up here on the front, is that pushes the front down, creating more space on the front. So it pushes the front down, pushing the pinion angle down, right? Other way around would bring my pinion angle up more, because it would rotate the rear end this direction, right? Pretty much the mounting angle of the springs is not going to change. So if this is fixed, just like, you know, the bottom of this frame, if the frame is fixed and I have something and I want it to point more uphill, I would put the fat end towards the back. If I want it to point more downhill, put the fat end towards the front, right? So that's how that's going to go in there. Fat end towards the front. But while I have these out, I am going to clean them up, and you can see, boom, clean them up. They're kind of rusty. I'll take a wire wheel to them, and I am going to go ahead and get the lower shock mounts tacked into place right over the top of them. So you guys don't need to watch me wire wheel, but that's what I'm going to be doing for a majority of time. All right, catch back at you. I got the lower shock mounts tacked up. Boom. My buddy Kyle's gonna come over and weld those up good and solid for me. You can see I got a little bit of painting going on here. Painting the driveline white. One, I think it looks cool, and two, it's kind of a habit. Circle track racing rules usually always state that your driveline has to be painted white. That way, if you lose the driveline, it can be seen. I'm just kind of carrying that onto my Tuff truck, so something to think about for you guys. If you're racing stuff, things like that, you know, if there's not a rule for it, it's a good idea. So other things going on here, there's this little thing right here. I think one of the bars that I'm wanting to run, I got one of those on each side. It was a mount for the inner fender well. I obviously don't have that anymore, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out on each side. So and I got a little bit of painting going on in the back. Boom. painted a little bit of the axle black. I was able to clean that area of the axle tubes off and paint it. I haven't gotten to the center section yet, but as I go, because I'm wanting it to be painted and look fairly nice, you know, that, and I'm wanting to use paint to cover up any of my mistakes. But seriously, as I go, I'm gonna try to paint things a little bit here and there, and then hopefully finished product will be good to go, rather than me having to try to paint the entire truck like in a day or whatever, and take components off to get them out of the way so overspray don't get on them, like shocks and stuff like that. So I figure I might as well just paint those areas while I'm there, right? So just a little bit of an update, and I'll be back at you again. It's obviously dark, it's late. I'm just starting to get some stuff tacked in. Don't know if you can see it, but off that top bar, I got a one down bar going to the frame over on this side. That's just tacked in place here, and then I'm kind of doing some mock-up over on this side again, that down bar that goes to the frame right there, and then 2 down bars on that main portion of the hoop there. Just mocking some stuff up, trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. We did get the wedges in. Man, I almost don't know what the use of turning this camera around is, but did get the wedges in. I went ahead and shoved one of the shocks up there, just to kind of see what it would look like. But tomorrow in the light, I will kind of go over all of this and the fix on the pinion angle. But really, the only suspension wise, the only real thing that needs to be done in the back is bump stops. I gotta make a spot for my bump stops to mount, and then really the suspension stuff is done. In the rear, I do have to get the shocks filled with nitrogen though, so that's a thing. But anyways, I just wanted to give you a brief overview what's kind of been going on, before I forget. But I will come back at you guys tomorrow. Woo! All right, guys. Fun stuff here. Fun stuff. All right. Let me find my knife, but I will show you. Okay, I guess I don't have a knife, but I will show you what just showed up. Literally just showed up. The UPS truck is still down the street. That's right. Woo! My package from FOA. I got my front coilovers here, so we're gonna open this up and take a look. We'll leave you in a little bit of suspense here, but show you where we're at with the front. I got pipe in place for my down bars on both sides here. You can see everything's just sitting there. It's kind of windy and breezy for welding, especially when you're MIG welding. It's blowing our gas all over the place, so we're just trying to get everything set up that way when the wind dies down, we can just hammer out the welds and stuff, which is fantastic. But it's also really awesome that I got that stuff done, and the shocks showed up, so I'll be able to set those in place and actually set up the shock mount and get those welded when they're ready to rock and roll. The other thing that we've been scratching our head on here for probably the last, I don't know, 2 hours is a radiator mount. This is the problem when you have 2 or more very capable people putting in their opinions on how to do something, and you end up going around in circles. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, but we can make it better this way, we can make it better that. Oh, we can make it, and then you end up back where you started, and I don't know. So we're going in circles. I feel like we were just thinking about it way too hard. Sometimes that happens when you're like under pressure and stuff, but I guess while I talk to you, I'm gonna sit over here, and this is my knife, screwdriver. We'll figure it out. But let me get this open. I'm excited to just even see what they are. Oh man, here we go, here we go. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty beautiful. Oh man, look at that thing. Look at that thing. We got our bump stop on there. Yeah, that's pretty gorgeous. And then in here is going to be our springs. That box is a little tougher to open one-handed, but that's right. Okay, we got coilovers now, and we got springs. So start getting stuff laid out, mocked up, and get our front shock mount done. Ooh, you'll see here I got the slider piece. So this is going to be a dual spring setup. There's going to be a spring with a certain weight up here and a spring with a different weight down here. So like run a, I don't remember what I ordered, like a 300 and 150 or something like that. We'll go over the springs and stuff when I, kicking stuff over. We'll go over the springs when I actually get that far, but for now I'm gonna try to get those mocked up in place so that I can figure out exactly where the mount is gonna go. It's exciting when new parts shows up. It's like Christmas. I love it. All right, guys. Little update. So SHOCKS came in, and I know we were banging our head against the wall. My buddy Kyle came and helped. I don't know if I said that earlier, and I don't know if I got on my camera, but we kind of jumped into doing shock mounts because we were like, you know what? Maybe we just need to step away from that project, work on something else, and come back to it. Because like I said, we were just you know, we were making something that was really simple into something way too hard, to be honest. So I try to get some light on it here, but you can see we installed a bar with brackets down, a lot like we did in the back. I'll do a better overview in the light, but yeah, I think it looks pretty good. That should be good enough, you know. I'm kind of excited. Look at how much droop that freaking axle has. that I-beam there. Anyways, wanted to give you an update as to what we were working on. Other thing that was super nice, you'll notice I put the fenders, mocked the fenders up back here. These come up and they're at the perfect height to support the bottom of the hood right there in the center, because since I gutted the hood, it has no supports, right? I'm over here like waving my hands, like the center of it has no support, so it has a chance to get a little bow in it. So that's nice to have those to support the center of the hood. That was kind of an afterthought. Really, we just to be honest, we got lucky that worked out perfect. I was literally thinking that I might have to cut a small hole in the hood so that it would sit down over that, but it came out perfect. So I would love to tell you that we designed for that, but not so much the case. So tomorrow, probably going to be doing a whole bunch on that radiator. And then this is going to be huge. We still have the front bumper and stuff to build. Really, on the front end here, once everything, this is all mostly just tacked in place, but once everything's welded up solid and the front bumper's put in place, I think fabrication for the front is over. And then I just have, you know, my coolant hoses and a whole bunch of that little stuff that goes around everything. So it's kind of exciting that we're getting to the point where things will start just going, right? I think we made a lot of headway today. That was, I'm not gonna lie, this was absolutely crazy, and I'm super happy that Kyle was here. But the cope on this piece of pipe, because it was an angle coming into an angle that also this down bar, it's just over the top on the other side of this down bar on both sides, and so it was just this absolutely insane cope with like 3 different angles coming into it. So Kyle spent a lot of time making sure that we got that right and making sure that the gap wasn't so horrendous it couldn't be welded. So thank you, Kyle. he did a fantastic job on that. But I think this is going to work out well for us. We were really worried about clearance for the shock over here, putting the shock here and making sure we had clearance between the shock and where the spring is going to be, and this master cylinder. I think we'll go over that probably in the daylight. We'll be like, oh yeah, here's the travel and all that happy stuff. So all right, I'm gonna keep working just a little bit tonight, but really what I got to do is get cleaned up and get a bunch of these little chunks of metal out of my driveway so I don't pop a tire later. Yeah. All right, we'll be back at it later. Alrighty guys, status update. So I kind of wanted to go over how the shock mounts were made. They were a crazy angle. I think I talked about that in the dark the other night, but basically we ended up having to bend just like we did in the rear. I'm over here pointing behind the camera, but just like we did on the rear, we put a bend in here. Unfortunately, this piece over here had to be like that much longer so that we had enough pipe inside the actual bender to grab. So we had to have a piece of pipe that at least stuck out to here on the bender, and it ended up only being about that tall. But we had to have it way out here. So something to think about when you're bending your stuff if you're going to try to do something like this. But this was super crazy. I'm really glad Kyle was here to do the coping and stuff, because I don't know if I would have had the patience for that, to be quite honest. It's just kind of the way it is. Got a radiator mount set up, I think. Got it kind of hanging in place here. Basically what I did is I took some square tube, cut it lengthwise like this, put three of them in, 1, 2, 3. And then I took a piece of angle, came off of it, came down, and then another piece of angle came off. This one's 1 inch. The one on the bottom, it was 1.25 inches, so it had a little bit more of a lip. And then this is 3 inch. And I pretty much did the exact same thing on the bottom, like that. 1 inch, boom, angle. Currently it's all just sitting there and kind of clamped, right? And then I took a piece of 1 inch by 1/2 inch channel here, okay, and I'm gonna weld it on the bottom. Everything's just tacked right now, and put a bolt hole on the top with like a fender clip on the back side here. I don't know if you can see it down in there, but that way I don't have to worry about a nut or anything. It always just stays clipped on there. And then on the back side of the channel, I stuck a bolt through, and you can see it, so it sticks out like a stud, and it's welded on the back side. So now I should be able to slide that fan on and off like that. So things that we were kind of worried about the angle, trying to get some angle into it, worried about getting the radiator mounted, or the fan mounted to the radiator, and making sure that I had clearance for the radiator cap. It all just kind of compounded into what was turning into a very very much being overthought. It was getting kind of crazy, and we just kind of had to walk away from the project to come back, and came back to it, and I had a whopping, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes into, oh yeah, I should do it this way, and then boom, this is what we got. So but now I have a piece of angle. This should have been one piece, but I had two pieces that were just barely too short to go along, so I cut it, and we're going to join them in the center. But square tube going across on the top, I'll be able to drill holes, 2, 3, 4, whatever holes, and put bolts here so that this will be bolted in. It'll be welded to the cage there, and of course this is a piece of pipe that'll be welded in place there once we find its final placement. So that's what I got going on for the radiator mount. I'm kind of, something else I guess I wanted to show you when we were talking about angle of the radiator. I wanted this to, you know, be kind of flat. Originally it was angled upwards like this. I'm doing my best to keep any high spots out, right? So like I didn't want my coolant line to come up and then loop up and then come back down, because any high spots has potential for trapping air bubbles. So, and we definitely don't want that, and I'm already probably gonna have that issue up here. I've shown you my exhaust tubing coolant lines. You can see this one's got all the bends it'll come out here somewhere, and now that I know where the radiator is going to be mounted, I'll be able to bend this tube to get it to go up there, and then I got to bend one more to match, but it'll come through the floorboard there and then out there. At least that's the end goal. So got to get that thing all welded up solid. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start running or bending this tubing here. I'll try to show you how I did that, because I promised you I would spend a little time doing that with you guys. You might be wondering why that radiator is a little offset to one side. It's offset to that side just a little because there's just enough room here for my transmission cooler. This is the stock transmission cooler that came out of it. I got to come up with some type of tab, and I was telling you I went and got some AN fittings. These are -6s that just screw in there, so now I'm gonna have to go get hoses that go from there all the way down to the transmission. But that's gonna end up here somewhere. So yeah, from over there, and then you can see there's the gap here. Hopefully all that's going to work out. It is currently Sunday, so I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday we're supposed to race it, right? And I'm supposed to race my modified. So I got basically 4 days to finish this truck and finish my modified, and it's not looking good. Got so much to do, it's ridiculous. Anyways, I just got to breathe a little bit and keep chipping away at this project, and just a little bit at a time. I'm really hoping that my brother or Kyle will be able to come by and do some more welding, because pretty much this whole front end is mostly just tacked, right? And I still got to do a front bumper up here, front bumper and fender mounts. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous that we're not going to be done in time. It's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of late nights. All right, let me move on to the next piece. When I go to bend that piece of pipe, I don't know if that's going to happen this video, because I think I already got a pretty good, this video is probably already pretty long, just with the little piece together stuff that we've done. So that bending of that pipe will probably be next video, but it's coming. So in fact, I think for right now, I'm gonna say thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I really appreciate you guys watching. Questions, comments, concerns down below. If there's something you would have done better, down below. You know, I know that radiator mount is probably gonna raise a lot of eyebrows, but we were using materials that we had, and you know, trying to keep the cost down, just using stuff that we had, versus going out and buying materials to make stuff work. But I think it'll work out. Questions, comments, concerns down below. Like, subscribe, Lumsden Motorsports Facebook page. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next video. Kyle just showed up. He's saving my butt. We ran out of gas in the welder, so thank you, Kyle. Welcome, buddy.